customers creating a network map of what's currently
Totally
installed
agree.
and put in the notes, not in a ticket that you have to search through to find.
Totally agree.
What's that again?
I like that idea.
That's a great idea.
Wouldn't it be a PDF that you can attach through?
Something.
You can attach
You can do it.
documents.
You can do that as a PDF, but it's really good if they can, I mean,
Wiki,
Even if they don't
Benson,
have it
what is
right
it?
there.
Wiki, Benson,
it's like
network, maps, is Christie,
Leanna here yet? I can
Yeah.
find out.
network maps,
Because it's also going to work for Casey Online too for complicated radio installs.
correct.
That's what I was telling, me and Les was talking about earlier, is we'd like to be able to get the,
Can you, have they already had snack?
No, I brought it, they brought it with them.
Okay, why don't we have snack with them?
Okay,
And
go
Leanna's coming, right?
ahead.
Okay. Wiki, Benson, network maps.
Go ahead.
Come on in here, guys, and have your snack.
Guys, come on.
Come sit right here next to Daddy. Okay, Weston, can you pull up that chair over there? See that? Oh, right there. Okay, have your snack, okay? Try not to interrupt Daddy, please. Okay, so we're going to add that to the network map, or the Benson Wiki document, so we can make sure that we start attaching that, because I think that's an actual excellent place to put that. Does anybody know how these fun dips work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna enjoy that a lot. Open the stick side and get the stick out.
And then you
And
open up
then
the
lick
powder
it
and
and
you
dip
dip
it
it in
into
and they suck it
the,
up.
What are you doing?
now they get to lick that and dip it in the powder.
Is that what you get to
And
do?
then we get to watch them run around.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much just.
Yeah. So, yes, customer, yeah.
that's what we were talking about earlier, saying and Les is putting in the topologies networks
Yep.
and Freeside. So
Yep.
we have documented a
That's
map of their network.
exactly where it should be.
But we need to document their current network and then also document what we've done to the network, like a before and after.
And that would all be in the notes.
But also have that.
Yeah, and you can do that, and let me show you where that is.
Okay.
Let me show you where that is. So under the notes, you can see that this is one note. It's quite large. And then there's another note for September 11th, that this customer gets scam charges of XYZ. So you can have multiple notes on here, based upon how much information you put in there, is how big that note will be. So there is attached file. Attached file are for contracts. Basically, let me put this very, very simple. If the customer's signature's on it, it goes here. If it doesn't have a customer signature on it, I don't want it. I never want to see it again. Shred it. That's
Okay, so
simple.
you're talking, okay, so that's a good point, because, you know, we create a document for the wireless installer,
Right.
and it's there, it's an unsigned document. When
You have to have
Wes-
some place to retrieve it, sir.
And when the
What's
West,
that?
The unsigned documents, we can print it off and take it to the customer.
but when, that's my question, the point I was going to make, Daniel, was that once we receive the signed document, when we upload it, we can replace the one that's there.
So like my quote,
Quotes, I think, should be there too, Ben.
Well, you think quote should be there?
Unsigned or signed?
See, I did it for the sign. Because before, I mean, here's the deal with those, because what you're saying, yeah, you're probably right. Quotes do need to be there.
I mean, that's just the way,
because if I'm getting a quote,
Because I always think about, because we have a place where the customer signs the quote. But
Right.
what you're saying is the customer you could send out that quote, and all of a sudden you could go on vacation for a week, and Melanie's going to get that call, say, hey, I'm ready to go on this quote, and Melanie's like, what are you talking about?
I
Which
have
one?
no-
So at this point in time, okay, so we will put quotes on there, yes.
Not only that, but I'm gonna need to see those quotes.
You'll have.
They'll be on the
that's what we'll
notes.
do.
Yep.
We're gonna put quotes in there.
That's a good idea.
So sign
okay,
contracts
now
and
Kelly
quotes.
needs to see the quotes
But
for
Yes,
you're gonna
Casey
have
Online.
you done, right, for Kelly to get the
Right.
keys for the quotes.
For any
We'll,
idea.
we'll work on that with the new order
Oh,
script
Vincent.
that we're gonna have.
but I'm gonna give all that
But
to you, and then you'll make sure.
But Bill would see those quotes also
Yeah.
for if there's purchasing orders and whatnot.
you said that it's gonna be signed before you can go into this database, but topologies aren't gonna be signed.
No, that doesn't have to be. Pictures of the account you can put in here as you can attach the document. You can also put pictures as notes. Yeah.
You know,
You can actually put pictures as notes, and that's probably what I would do. I would probably put the pictures as note. Then you can visually see it
Should be here in like 10.
right then and there. Okay. That's
Now, if I put, like a Vincent, he does a quote for a new computer, am I pulling that out of the notes? I just had one the other day that he sent me, he gave me an invoice to print out for Thin and Brown. because they gave Zach the money and they requested, receipt for it, for that invoice. Where is he putting that at? 'Cause I'm trying to find it.
We'll show
Like
you.
if I create a quote, I stick
You
it in the
created
document.
an invoice,
It's in the T drive, we'll show you.
okay.
We'll show you. That, let me be clear about that. We are in the process of getting rid of the T drive clients. We are in the process of getting rid of the vendors folders. We're in the process of getting rid of some SharePoint sites. We're going
Some
to
extra.
consolidate everything down and make it very simple. So if you have a customer issue, you go to Freeside.
Oh.
You don't go anywhere else for that customer information. There's no other folders, there's no other network drives, there's nothing. It's all going to be in Freeside, so it can be accessed from anywhere. So,
I have a question for you now, sir. Especially on attachments, does that actually make a table in Freeside or is that a separate folder? Because those databases will become very mammoth very quickly.
yeah, and Freeside did mention to that, they have a workaround for that. They actually have I believe if I remember right, they have a server that will integrate into Freeside that will actually handle all of those files.
Because I mean, you know, if you make the, of course, you know, the bigger you make the databases, the harder they'll be to access. And you know, pictures and things of that nature use a lot more bandwidth than us making notes on the account. Just thought I would point that out.
And I totally agree. And if anybody doesn't understand file sizes, please get with me. I will personally explain it to you. Because if you try to upload a 10 megabit file, I'm going to kick your butt. Okay? 10 megabit files should never be uploaded for any reason.
So what would
ever.
be the purpose?
What would be the purpose of what?
Of that large size
It just
of
means
file?
that it's just so big of a file size
Why
that
would we want to
you
do
wouldn't,
that?
there's nothing that we
Good.
have that
An instance
needs
that what could happen is if a scanner has a resolution that is very, very detailed, you would have a very much larger size file.
Just make sure
And
you
how
give
do
your
you-
resolution doesn't change from default, you should be fine on that.
Right,
Correct.
right,
And
but
how-
that's an example.
How would you know what size it is?
What?
It's
says
from
right
the
here.
scanner, no, from the scanner when it's in.
You would know, it would show before you put it up.
Well, one, it would take
You want
a
high
whole
res.
lot
It would
longer
take-
to scan.
But even
And then
now,
more
we don't do
If
that.
it's a
Okay.
high
It's not
resolution.
like, we have our set upstairs, we just scan. and-
This video that I'm shooting, we don't want to put up.
Okay, any questions on the notes? I think I made quotes and pictures and signatures for docs. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see a whole bunch of already filled out sign-up forms with no customer information on, or no customer signature on it. Because I can manufacture that again. Does that
Okay,
make
so where do
sense?
you want us to store that at, so Wes can download, sir?
Well, we store it there, Bud, but we just have to leave it there.
You
We
can
can
then-
delete
you can
it once
then
we get
delete
the
it.
signed contract or upload and replace the
So
unsigned with the
she will
signed.
delete it out of there when she's scanning in the signature one.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes,
Right.
it can be done at that time, yes.
That's great. That's, yeah, that's.
There's a big old delete
Because
button.
See?
That's my favorite feature of those.
Well, the nice thing about it is I can actually get deleted attachments. So while you might delete it, it doesn't really delete it. Okay, so then there's tickets. Anybody else on notes before we move on? I want to try to be cautious of our time. Tickets. There's a lot to tickets. Lots to tickets. I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do a brief overview on tickets, and then I'm going to come back to it if we have some time, because I really want to get through some of the other things here. Let me put it to you this way. This screen right here, I hate. I hate probably just as much as you do. It doesn't sort them really very well. You can't, you see that there's no way of sorting those tickets? It is a mod that we've asked Freeside to do for
So
us.
if you hit new, open, install, resolve,
Yeah.
it'll
They'll
sort
store them in
them.
order, but that's about it.
It'll
Yeah.
store them chronologically, but
It's just a matter of you can't see that right on this screen.
that's right.
And I mean, if you could even sort by ticket number, that would be helpful. Because I mean, like in the subject line, it just doesn't necessarily tell us.
And we're going to try
What the
to
problem
improve,
is.
that's something I'd like to see improved on.
Yeah.
This is subject line data, because we use so for searching.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll have a ticket, DSL, and when I go to the ticket screen, it's not showing.
Is that because?
And then I have to go back.
That has
into
not
the
been, that has not been linked to that customer. That's why.
Or sometimes I've had that come across, and because there's so
So
much
many
in
tickets, you
there,
have to go to
you
open,
have to
install,
go to
review.
that
Other
view,
one to see it.
the open one, and then it'll.
Because the way that I
condense it.
think it should be shown is the top ones need to be unresolved,
Condense
or that are not been resolved.
The open ones.
The
or
open
new.
ones, and then by that, based upon the ticket number,
That would be great.
Yeah.
that's how it should be sorted.
But
And
if-
they've just
yeah.
done
But
it.
if you've got a customer on there and a ticket number, if you
Yeah.
have to go there to condense that data.
And you are able to search through tickets and be able to find a ticket number
Yeah.
just by this field right
Yeah.
up there. I mean, and there's some other things that are on there. So you can create a ticket from here, and if you create a ticket, that is going to open up a new window.
But you have to have a customer established to do that,
Yeah, you're in the
Yes.
customer account.
We're
you're in the
already
customer.
we're already in that customer's account.
right?
Yeah.
So when I create a new account, it's going to link it to that ticket
Yeah.
to this customer. Correct. And I'll show you that when we go to the ticketing main, how it doesn't do that on other tickets. I can associate that ticket to whichever ticket that I
Whichever
want.
queue.
Some of these will get consolidated as we combine companies.
If you don't
So
have
I need
access to a
make
queue,
sure
sorry.
when you're doing a ticket and you're pulling up, say, Thin and Brown, and they have Casey online and they have Benson, you're gonna have to make sure that you're clicked on the right account to make it like for the Benson one.
And also the right queue that you're sending the
Correct.
ticket to. Yes.
So that one's gonna have to be one that's,
Correct.
That's one of the things we can go into
And
detail
as
later
we
on.
bring in and integrate, you're just gonna have to be very.
Right. So this is how you create a new ticket. Now, what I want to show you is what Beth briefly explained, is she created that ticket under this account. Do you see where it says requesters?
Uh-huh.
See that email address right there? Whatever I type in this description right here, which, why can I not?
Windows 8 is so great.
Windows 8 is awesome.
Shut up, I have Firefox you guys were supposed to use today.
Anyway, so if you leave this requester here, and I come down here and I wish I could just miraculously type into this text box, but I can't.
We can imagine it.
We're going to imagine that I'm typing in here that this customer is an idiot. I can't believe that they want me to redo their network again.
And use Windows
Hit
8.
period, Windows 8, and come down here and then click on create.
it sends
You
them,
are going to send them what you just typed.
I already do that one, so I don't.
Okay,
I can do that for medium.
Yeah.
but you can do that for DDM, that's fine. I don't care about that so
but you
much.
gotta make sure you take that out of that request.
All you have to do
Well,
is
do
just
that
come up
here.
here and push that little X box, and you don't have that issue anymore.
Yeah, but then when you do,
Just
if you
now.
are for whatever reason,
Basically.
what about if you can reply and you want to?
I will show you that in the other tickets.
I know
See if
how
you can
to do
remote it.
that, but
We
what
can
I'm
use it.
saying
She's
then
here.
is that if you remove that information from the ticket, will it pick it up from the account level if you do decide you want to reply that to that customer?
If you want to reply in the future, it's going to repopulate that every time.
Okay. Because I really don't want to see a lot of unprofessional remarks.
Right. I agree. The way that I look at it is replies are going to create new tickets, and replies will put whatever you put there to the customer.
To the customer.
Comments will never be seen to the customer. And I'll go through that on this next screen.
Are you sure on that?
Comments will never go to the customer. Never.
Yeah, that's right,
Comments will never go.
unless you CC them or.
Unless you
click a box.
CC
Unless you click a box to send it to them, or if their address is there, or if you.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
Why does
had
this ticket disappear?
Thin and Brown, I put possible voice
I'll show you that.
in the
Yeah.
notes that I was putting in there that once we get through
Yeah.
getting their network set up, possible
Mm-hmm.
set up for VoIP. Well, it generated a ticket and Mark and Bill both, what is this with Indiana Telephone Network cells? Because I couldn't find a key for VoIP, so I put Indiana, who is Indiana Telephone Network?
Oh,
Did you explain it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So this is your basic queue. If I would create KC Online Customer Service, this ticket is going to go to the KC Online Customer Service queue. Now, like I said before, when all of a sudden, when we get all the queues combined, and we are slowly, every day, getting more and more things combined, when that does that, there'll be just simpler queues for customer service. There'll be simpler queues for sysadmin. There'll be simpler everything. So, but your status is new, open, and resolved. You can create a ticket and resolve the ticket at the exact same step. I went and worked on so-and-so's computer today. They get installed freecouponprinter.com, and it created a madhouse of problems. Period, submit, and resolve the ticket. Creates the ticket, documents the problem, and done. Okay? And you can do that all in one step. So I don't want to hear it's like, well, you got to create the ticket, then you got to resolve the ticket, you got to update the ticket. You can do it all in one step. Okay? Then your owner. An owner is, you can create ownership of a ticket. We don't really use it. You know, I see sometimes that sysadmin does it sometimes. If Andrew's working on something, he will own the ticket. That way Zach knows that Andrew's working on that ticket. If he doesn't take ownership of the ticket, then he doesn't know, no one knows. Is somebody already working on this? So
Right, and also too, won't it appear in their little box if you take ownership? If it's, say for example, if it's something you wanted to monitor personally, it would show up in your main box. When you go
Correct.
to
Yes,
the
yes, it
page.
will, yes.
Okay.
yes. What's that customer that we're doing a computer for right now? Some green.
Top 10.
Or it might
Judy Green, yeah.
Okay, in this ticket screen, under tickets, we will see every customer that has, and I just know this green because I don't know, I just remember. Right now, there are 2 tickets in here. As I look at this, garbage in, garbage out. You're not able to do your job if you can't read your own stuff. So, just like this subject, I have no idea what the freak that means. Now, if there are 10 of those in there, how are you going to find out what problem you're talking about? You're not. So if you don't take the time, put in a subject of what the ticket is about, and be detailed about that, then you can't find future problems. Now, I agree, just how we talked about, it's a pain in the butt how you can't sort the tickets. I get that. We're going to fix that. It's not my fault. It's Freeside. But we're going to get there. But at the same point in time, if you don't put something in the subject line, you're not helping yourself find things. So,
or your peers.
correct, or your peers. So if I come in here in the in-shop, the Syracuse in-shop repair, this is going to pull up their ticket.
If Windows 8 will happen.
Now, if there was a subject line, it would say it right here. But as of right now, I don't know what this is about. Nobody does. So we have to scroll down and look at the basics screen. This is their ticket number. If I click on the basics, I can actually see more detailed information, but it doesn't matter for what we're doing at this point in time.
Question, can you add a subject or change the subject?
I believe that you
Yes,
can.
you can.
Yes.
I
The basics
modify
screen.
all the
I did good
time.
luck with Windows 8.
Because,
Well, what
That's true.
happens is that it
See where it says your
goes-
subject line right there?
Yeah.
I can go through and add and change those
so I know we have some wireless
and
customers
save
that have
changes.
tickets that have detailed network setup and information for multiple radio installs, and the note says, see this ticket, and then you look at the ticket, it says problem with wireless. It should be changed to install notes. Or
All you have to
something
do is
like
just
that.
click on the basic screen, change subject, it's done.
Cool. You know what was with this one? Her computer died.
SimCorp, that's a big
Right.
one.
Yeah.
Now, this particular customer has a ticket associated, or this ticket has a customer associated with it. One ticket can be associated with a lot of customers. Vice versa, it could be just associated with no customers. And you have to link that customer. I can come in here and click on customers. And I'm going to find another, I'm going to say green. I'm sure I've got another green customer in here. And I click on green, and it's probably going to list several. See where it says there are several customers? There's Tom Green,
Don't
there's
touch
Donald
Sandra
Green.
Green's account, please.
So if I wanted to, I could click on Donald Green.
Mhm.
If I check on that, customer number 219 is still going to be associated with this ticket. But also,
9998.
customer number 9882 will be associated with this ticket. So if there's an outage, and they all call in about the same problem, and you identify that it is, you could link it to everybody that came in and talked about it, and then you can pull that information up again Yes.
I like that
Oh, I love
idea,
you.
Ben.
Okay, so that is something that you can do, and all you have to do is simply check on the box, come down here and hit Save Changes, and the tickets are now linked. You can, like, if I click on Save Now, there would be 2 customers that would be linked here. I can simply come in here and check on another one, see where it says checkbox to disassociate, and Judy Green is no longer associated with this ticket. So if I hit the back button, that shows you how to link tickets. There are lots and lots and lots of tickets every day that never get associated with customers. Help desk tickets are not going to ever get associated, you know, but purchasing tickets could be. And they should be, right, Kelly?
Should be.
Right. So when Kelly gets a purchasing ticket request from Charles or from Wes, hey, I need to, or from Bob, to get this, Kelly should be able to then go in and associate that ticket with the customer that they just said. Then, when we pull up Sandy Green, we have every documentation that ever had, or not Sandy Green, but Judy Green, we have every documentation, every step that took place on that customer. Yes?
We'll see also with me though, when
So
I'm
it'll
purchasing multiple radios for future customers.
We're working on that. We're also going to be doing the same thing. That ticket number, when you say you need 10 radios, that asset ID number for, let's say for example, there will be 10 radios in that box. The asset ID number will be that ticket, or that ticket number.
Yep.
Then it will be A for the first radio, B for the second radio, AA if we get to the 26th item, or you know whatever that is. So then all those numbers can all be associated
Track.
back with each other. Okay?
That way when we have a Chrome battery that's, 2.5 years old, we try to find the
We can
invoice
get back
for
to
it,
it.
we can just find it.
Well,
Any
just boxes
questions
sitting
on
downstairs.
associated
Yeah,
tickets? Does that make sense? So if you do not have a customer here attached to it, do yourself a favor. And by yourself a favor, I mean yourself a favor, and attach the ticket to a customer.
Well, if there is no customer to attach it to.
Then you don't have
help.
Then
Generic help desk.
you would, if it's just generic help desk, then that won't be assigned. That won't be assigned to a customer.
We are the customer.
Yeah. People, we don't really use people, but people is basically the requesters. You can see Judy E546. That is the person whose email address is listed in the basic screen on the customer's account. It's automatically populated into there. So then if I come down here and click on More About Requesters, you can see if I click on All Active Tickets, All Inactive Tickets, or All Tickets, anybody that is, or all tickets that have come from this email address, I can click on All Tickets, and it will show all tickets from that email address. I know. So what's going to happen is see where it says loading, and it's showing the 2 tickets right now at this point in time. That is that. On the right-hand side, reminders. We don't use reminders. If you want to start using reminders, that's you. Who does?
Occasionally I do, I usually put it in my task list.
Anyway, reminders will prompt you about a certain ticket. Dates. The dates is created, when the ticket was created, if it starts on a certain time, if it started on a certain time, last contact, the due date, resolved, and the updated. So, it was resolved at this time and it was last updated at this time. Links. We're going to get to links, and we're going to go through a lot of links when Melanie starts creating a ticket. What's going to happen is we're going to have a new web form. And that web form, so when all new orders are going to come into Melanie. Every order for every company that we have is all going to go through Melanie. She's then going to fill out a new order form. And so she's going to then checkbox on all the different services that they're going to get. Melanie's going to go through, and that web form is going to create a new order ticket. They want to they want to buy a new computer, they want to do this, they want to do this, and they want to have web design or a web design ticket created for a new hosting, and they want to do iDisplay and all. They want to do 10 services. Melanie is then going to have a checklist that she goes through. She can create children tickets, and children tickets basically are exactly the way it looks. You can have multiple tickets associated with this main ticket. So then you can say, this is the new order, and there's this sales for iDisplay, this sales for website, this sales for this, and it will link all of the tickets off to the right-hand side. Because I'm teaching everybody how to use that. Okay? Anyway, so you can refer to, you can depend on. So let's say, for example, this ticket I can't work on until somebody else does their job. And you can create that ticket. Or it's going to wait on this until I can do something else. It really helps you go through and document things better. This is a ticket. There are only two things that are on this ticket. This is the history of the ticket. There is, what, have you done? Okay. Okay. So there is Friday at March 8th, John created this ticket. And he says the computer will not boot up. If I click on, when that ticket was created, you see RT Service itself created an outgoing email. What that means is John created that ticket, and it sent them an email to that Judy that says, hi, you dropped off your computer. Here's the details that we have on file. What was the subject line again? Oh, there wasn't one. So the customer got an email from us with the subject line blank that says, thank you for dropping off your computer. We're going to fix, quotation mark, nothing, quotation mark. That's exactly what got sent to them.
I'm working on it.
I know. I'm just trying to teach my example here.
I'm a good example.
So now you can pull up that show, and you can see exactly what was actually sent to that customer's email. It says, greetings, this message has been automatically posted to the creation of trouble tick regarding... There's
nothing there.
There's nothing there. So, if you have future problems, refer to this ticket number.
Just refer to John Mason's ticket.
Right.
So, all the
How do I
people
get out
that
of
we
here?
converted to DSL.
We got to close it.
Here,
How
I'll
do I
do it.
close it?
Oh, that's Windows 8, never mind.
Here.
By the way, we're upgrading everybody to Windows 8 next week.
Great.
I'll be
You gotta go all the way back?
No, you're not.
You upgraded to Windows 8.
I want to sync in there.
Oh, right there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Ooh, that was
Yeah, that was, a lot of wasted time.
See why we don't?
Okay, so then on March 11th, it sent out, John made another comment, says customer bought a new computer, however she wants to upgrade to the new Dell. I told her that would be fine, we would apply the balance to the roll machine. Then that comment that he made got sent to her, and then on March 11th, John marked it resolved.
But you notice he did mute resolve in response there.
Correct. Well, the mute resolve,
Means she did not receive it.
not, yes, that's correct. Yeah. What he got was just one. So, okay, so there is reply, comment, and forward. Forward will forward this message to whoever you want it to.
Ooh, is that a-
The whole ticket or that message?
This message.
That's what
So
I
if I
thought.
want to forward something that I put in
Yeah, I've been
to
using
Melanie,
Casey and Texas.
So you would use that versus CCing me? Or
You
would
could.
use the
You could do it that way.
forward, Or how would you?
Will that show in the history then?
Yes, I think it
If they
does.
call
I'd have to look at that. I think it says that an outgoing email was.
It'll say, I use it
Well,
to
it means
Casey,
will it show
Texas.
that?
It will say it was forwarded
To
to.
so-and-so, yes. It would show up as, it would say outgoing email reported.
I mean, what the customer.
The customer wouldn't see that, no.
Even after you were in a different one and you replied to them.
If you reply
Like
to
you
them,
did, you said you didn't.
So if you
Right.
just wanted to make someone made aware of some information, you could forward it. If
I
you-
forget about the
If you
CC.
wanted an action or something, you should really do a comment.
right, I would really, yeah.
Yeah.
So the reply, if I click on reply, okay, so if I click reply, when I open up that ticket, it has a couple options. There's reply to requester and there's comments. Comments says not sent to requesters. Pretty simple. Okay, reply, it goes to requesters. I can then change the status on the ticket. Is it resolved? Don't resolve it if it's not resolved. You know, it's already resolved because the ticket's resolved, but just don't resolve it if it's not, because otherwise somebody's gonna forget, and you can't say that you're gonna remember because you won't remember. It's just not gonna happen. There are too many tickets. I think there are close to 550 some open tickets in the system right now. You just can't, you just can't do that. So there's new, there's open stall. You could take things from a resolved status and open it back up as to a to a new again, over and over. You can,
Or you can document
right.
it.
I always really encourage people to document how long you spent on something. I think it's really helpful, because you can really see how much time is actually going into a customer, then you can evaluate whether or not we should fire a customer. I'm never opposed to firing customers, never.
Not if
I
they're
was
costing you money.
today. I told Kelly, I walked in your office, I said, you know what, I know it's bad business practice, but we should fire some customers.
Well, there are some customers we should fire. Melanie and I we have targeted
I've
customers,
fired
and we have fired a few
customers
customers. And there is a tactful way of firing customers.
Yeah, I mean, no, really.
Melanie
I
has
know,
a-
John,
Melanie
if
has
you
a
get to
script.
that point, buddy, you need to come to me, okay?
That's right. So,
What, can I get on the deal?
if this was not Windows 8, you could actually type in something here and do a Windows one-time charge and your subject line of your reply. That's okay. When you hit update ticket, it will send that information to that customer. And if you click on the comment screen, which is back one more,
Do you want us to use the comment line to, just for us technicians? to
Yep.
Just kind of work?
Yep.
Okay.
yep, and then you put a summary response
And this
of
would
what
be
you did to fix the problem. Correct. Correct. You don't do every step, I mean, like, you don't need to reply every step.
But it would be great if they updated the status of where they were.
They are
So when
working,
we
they are
offer
working on
support,
that.
then
Yes.
we can give that for it.
How many, my goodness, they're killing me.
I'm
So-
gonna be saving you a lot of time and heartache in the long run.
There is comment, which opens up the same exact box as what I just did. It just clicks it to the comment box instead of the request box. Any questions on that? Other than the fact, one other thing I was going to tell you, sometimes it will say this message is too big, you have to download this.
Yeah.
I know that's a problem with RT and how it integrates into that, to the mail interface. So what you have to do is you have to download the
Click
comments.
comments, you can click comments and see it that way.
You can also click comment, like he said, and it will kind of arrow the thing out.
Okay.
If, one other thing I would like to show you, have you noticed if you hit reply and it puts the person's message?
The previous
That's
message
very
before.
Previous
good point.
message.
I'd like to know
Yes.
how you want that.
It makes it very
handled.
difficult to
I
read.
wish I could show you. Maybe.
You have to delete the previous one and put in your new one, right?
How do I get Firefox?
Some
Yeah,
people
that's
do
not-
not do
that's
that
not-
though,
that's
Beth.
not-
and
But that's what I'm
Right
supposed
there.
to do, right?
as
I'm
far-
supposed to delete the prior one?
Yes, let me show you.
If, that's what I want clarified today. Because some people don't, some people do.
And it's very difficult
I
to
didn't
scroll
know it
through
was
a
supposed
ticket
to
to
be more,
find.
because I thought I'd be deleting information.
where the latest
So if
thing
you
was
come across
touched.
any that's for me, because I didn't realize that I could delete that and when it,
Well, some people choose not to. Like Zach's not like that. He likes to add his information to the top. And it's, you can get some long
You were in Judy Green.
tickets in there.
Yeah.
I don't think it really matters. I just need to see a ticket.
And you've got to, you sometimes are reading the same information till you finally get to the bottom, or you have to go back up and say, where did I miss them responding?
You would rather have a breakdown of what we're doing.
Right, so if I hit reply at this point in time.
I don't need to know step by step what you're doing, but if you're in progress, I'd like to know that.
Yeah,
We have paperwork now that we're implementing that should.
Will tell us that.
did you say
That's not a
paperwork?
good one.
On that,
That would be like.
I think you said paperwork. I
and
don't-
you can.
That stuff?
Yeah.
Patrick, you're not getting, no, that doesn't even rub off.
I already
the
told
ballot.
I didn't
him.
like that print thing.
I know, okay. Do you see where this information is here? It says on whatever it was, wrote. The way that I educate everybody is come up here and type up the message at the very top. Because it's very confusing for the customer. I mean, truthfully honest with you, you don't even really need this.
I just erase
Most of the
everything
time,
and start.
most of the time, I delete everything.
That's
fine.
probably what should happen,
That's
because that
all I
will.
didn't do, is just deleting
The
everything.
reason for not deleting it
Mhm.
is if you are responding to a ticket that is more than a week old.
Or if.
People are going to forget what the heck you're even doing.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden what's going to happen is they're going to reply back to the ticket, what the heck are you talking about? Because there's no information that says
Or if you're
what it was.
responding to a customer, it's nice for them to see.
Correct. Sometimes it is, that's right. Now, but the nice thing about getting rid of all the information, when you go through that ticket, it makes it very, very clean. You can see exactly, otherwise what happens is you have The previous conversation, their conversation, your
yeah.
conversation, and then it goes down the next second, the previous conversation, their conversation, and it
You
gets buried.
spend a lot
So,
of
I mean,
time.
if you can get away with it, just delete everything.
And then just mention in regards to.
Yeah.
Yeah, in regards, yep.
Yeah, that's right. Any questions? Try to literally state, Judy, do you mind calling the office? I tried calling you, and no answer.
We've attempted to reach you several times.
Thank you for your business.
I've got a computer that's been sitting down on the shelf for like 8 weeks now, no customer picked up, I keep on calling the poor guy, I'm like,
Right.
hey,
Do you know that I am not going to my email client and emailing the customer?
Mhm.
I'm emailing them in Freeside.
Right.
Try very hard not to ever email your client, the clients from your.
Because once you do.
They will
even,
save it
you
to
know,
their
they
contact
will
list.
They're
It
gonna
will
save it, and
forever
they're going
be-
to bug you and bug you and bug you, and then they're gonna get pissed at you
We're not responding
for
to
not
that.
responding to people.
Yep.
Or give them your cell phone number.
Or-
Right.
Yep.
Or the cell phone number, right?
Yep.
But I mean,
Learn that.
before
Right.
Christmas.
Right, that's exactly right.
What did you say?
But it has first
I
name.
said, that's why I don't have a company phone anymore.
It gets more
Oh,
complicated.
yeah, or you'll have a text from them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you don't want that either.
Then it does get more complicated when you have customers that are not integrated into Freeside.
Yes, it
That are
does.
They're not, they're like they have U4 VoIP and Freeside services.
Yep.
So I mean, to email them for U4 VoIP, I have to do.
I
Yep.
totally understand.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying?
The ultimate
Yeah,
goal is to get to that
The ultimate
point,
goal is
though.
when we get into this system,
I
that's
understand.
where it needs to be.
But I knew where that came from.
No, let me put it this way. It wasn't just that.
No,
Okay, let's
no,
put that way.
it definitely wasn't just that.
Is there any other questions on ticketing main?
Are you,
Yes, sorry,
so
Patrick.
when this goes back to the same question, I'm not asking right now. Say I wanted to put the ticket in and I wanted to make sure that, like, I was asking Sharon something, that she got it. So I don't have to do a separate email, I can just do the comments and that's gonna prompt her to that? Am I to assume that?
Comments, comments
So I don't get an
CC. You can
answer.
CC her, but if she
But I have
is
to know
set
her
up,
address.
yeah, if you just put
Not
something in her
anymore,
comment.
it auto-populates
What does?
the address, the
Like
email
around there?
address
It does not?
in Freeside.
What auto populates, I'm sorry.
The email address of the people you're trying to email now.
If they've been emailed before in
If they
Freeside.
didn't.
No, I don't know, because we did one, didn't we, Brandon? And I'm like, Brandon, I'm sorry, you're going to have to do the complete address and.
Oh, if you're wanting to create a new ticket,
If it comes, that email address will come right up.
Really?
okay.
It starts to, I think you have had to at least email them once in Freeside.
What I have found then is if someone's emailed me or been involved in an email on a ticket, when you are at the top, it will give you the option to CC that person if you want
Yes,
to.
it does, it does. So if I hit reply to this ticket, it will come up with the option to, if you're replying on the ticket.
If you're commenting to Sharon, it should still come up the same
Correct.
way.
Yeah,
There's
so like if I
one-time
click on comments, it's not gonna get sent to the requesters. But if I do a one-time one-time
That's a
CC,
good improvement.
and I put Sharon's in here, she's gonna get that email.
Yeah.
What's up with the little stars?
And if you email her before she's emailed you.
It is, yeah, it's so you can bookmark it next time.
So
There's
that's
a
good.
little, underneath there, there's a little white
Oh, so you
box.
can
Okay.
bookmark them to.
Populate.
I guess my question becomes, do I need to do the CC to make sure she gets it?
If it
Or
is
whoever
on,
needs to get
if
it.
you're replying to the ticket, then she will automatically get notified of that.
Okay.
But if you're commenting on there, you better put this one-time CC.
And also take note, the customer will get the reply
So-
anytime you hit
Yep.
reply.
Customer will get the
If
reply.
I put in a customer call, for them to customer call,
Can you call
someone,
Corey?
should I
Sure, for what?
CC them also?
It's a call. What's that?
Say that I have a customer queue that I need them to be called after 6 o'clock today. Should I CC them so to make sure they get that, so they do it today?
You can, for sure.
It's
Because if not, I know as you guys diligently go through that,
Well, the
But it
thing
may
is, I
be
need
a couple
to know.
days before.
At that point in
they-
time, they would know, they would get that information. If you do a one-time CC, they will get that information.
Right then and there.
Right
I
then
won't
and
have,
As soon
okay,
as you hit it,
okay.
they're gonna go. Any other questions on
Well,
this?
try to get away from that as much as possible, if you can, because I have two sitting on the note to call them, and it would be great if you don't hear back, please call them, because especially if there's if they're available all the time, we are there. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to play phone tag back and forth.
Right.
Are we talking about communication again?
What is your Windows 8 machine? Okay, any other questions on tickets? Pretty good? All right, packages. I'm gonna skip packages in just a second. I'm gonna go to payment history first and then come back to packages because I think it'll make more sense. So if I click on payment history is exactly what you think it is, payment history. It shows when an invoice was created, how much the invoice was for, if there was payment on that, if there was a credit, if there was a refund. I don't do refunds. And $42.43 is their balance. Let's see, $2.26, that's the date that payment was taken for cash on invoice number by Andrew Wood. That's $42. That makes your real-time running balance of $0. This invoice was created on the same time, invoice created, and it created that invoice, and that dollar amount kept growing. Then on 2/28, the amount was taken out for payment, taken out for payment, taken out for payment. As it was going. That's,
How come it has a refund balance?
Refund is its
no,
own
refund
column.
is its own column. This is a separate column.
If we'd given a credit, then it would have populated, see, following down
Oh,
the
now it's
credit,
created
or a
probably.
refund would have been following down there.
Correct.
Hmm.
All right. If you wanted to accept check payment from the customer, you would hit in check payment. You would track the information, or the time, the date, the amount, the check number, and you would auto-apply to the invoice. Or if you don't auto-apply to the invoice, you can actually specify which invoice it goes to. However, just click auto-apply to the invoice. Make it
Normally,
easy.
there's only one
Correct.
invoice.
Normally, unless you're,
And you can
Several
always
customers
go back and
right
edit it.
right. Enter cash payment, same thing, just has a different type of thing. It says by cash, there's no comment, or there's no check number. Process a credit card payment. If I click on process credit card, you put the dollar amount there. You see that it says there's a remember this information, and then there's also a charge future payments to this credit card.
Yes.
Those are totally different. Remember this information,
There's an
we'll
automated-
remember this information and you can use it for historical purposes. But charge future payments to this credit card, right now, Pedro is on ACH. If I click the checkbox for charges future payments to this card, I just took him off of ACH, and now I'm charging his credit card. You are then going to get a phone call that says, why are you charging my Chase card? You told me you were taking it out of my checking account. We look like idiots because we didn't look at that checkbox when we were submitting it.
Attention to detail.
Attention
I have a
to detail, yes.
question. If they do have a credit card change, say, or let's just say they were set up for credit card, but they want to just update and process their current payment, do you have to go to the basics fields and update the information there, then come back to the payment, or can you
You
do
can
it
do it all
right
from
there?
You know,
I always update payments here if they're gonna update it permanently.
Okay.
There's no point. in
You
doing
don't
it
even
and
have to
coming
go to
back
the other
over.
screen, you can do this, do it from this screen.
Right, okay, good.
And then process payment, it will show you a, I believe, I don't do this very often, Daniel, you do it probably more than I do, does it give you a process of approved or declined, or?
On here,
Yeah. or
if
is
you
on
do
screen?
it by, if you do it by credit card, it will give you an
That's what I
authorization
thought.
number and a payment ID.
Yeah.
If you do it by electronic check, it just gives you the payment ID. Authorization number is not there because, you know, you have to go through processing and everything. But it will give you something showing if it's successful. If it's not successful, it will also trip up an error too.
Okay.
Like the address is invalid is the one we keep getting. Typically, I get that even if the billing address for the customer is correct, they change their cotton picking address with the bank, or the bank has changed it, they tell the customer.
Correct.
And then we have to call and find out
Yeah.
if they're not on the phone what the issue is.
With our credit cards, I've made it so it's not as difficult to process credit cards if the addresses don't match.
That has
It comes
improved
in,
greatly.
right, it does. And because it comes in as a suspicious transaction. Basically, if their address does not match, it's a suspicious transaction, but it will still approve. It's just I get dinged 57 cents more.
Mine would not approve, sir. The
Okay.
ABS, if the ABS was wrong, like
There
in a
must have been
different
something
state.
else that really
Yeah.
triggered it.
Yeah, but in most cases, we
Yeah.
kind of reduce that, and I'm willing to just cough up the 57 cents to move on with life. Because there's points in time where it's just like, how much work am I gonna go through? And then how many emails will I get from you that says, I can't figure this out? The customer saying, I swear this is my checking account, you know, and it's just not working.
That
I
happened
got a
before.
question. What if we are harboring terrorist
If you already got through that.
operations
No,
in
we
the
can
back to it.
organization,
Okay.
and we're not doing what we should be doing?
What do you mean?
What?
If
If I comparing apples to apples or, addresses, with legitimate addresses, and, that nexus and it led down the road.
It's not really that, it's not gonna be a problem. It won't be. Okay. It won't be. Okay, so there is, process, intercredit. There's credit line items, intercheck refund, intercheck cash refund. These items are usually done by, Melanie or Kelly, stuff like that. In fact, not everybody has those,
Features.
items. There's a few tax exemptions. If they're tax exempt, you have that option. Invoice reports.
What does invoice reports do?
Let's see, what is the invoice reports? The invoice reports will basically do everything that, you can get a transaction log of all the invoices for the
Okay.
customer, and you can email that information to them. That's what invoice
Oh,
reports
cool.
And that, we do
What's
have
that?
customers that request that type of stuff.
Most people don't do that, so, any questions on the payment history? Okay, I am gonna go back to packages, but I want to get to the change history. Change history logs everything that is done. It doesn't allow you to say, well, I never did this, or I didn't do this, or I did this, or I didn't do this, or somebody did it. This literally will say who did what in what order. You can see that Charles Bryant set up the account. And then at, the 6 days later, he came in and added several one-time charges. It is a gruesome way of looking at the information, but you can decipher it. Basically, the job queue is our automated billing system that was billing the transaction fees. You can see that Kelly came through and changed contract end dates on here. Charles came through and changed something with the database package. He changed package number and changed it to the order date. This is I can't remember what this is called, but this is computer date and time.
Julian date or something
Yeah,
like
something
that,
like
sir.
that. That's how it's stored. So it
That's a
really,
Linux date format.
really what happens is you're looking at this information anyway. And you can see what happens. And then you can pick up the phone and say, hey, Kelly, why did you do this? And then Kelly can say, I don't know. So, and then you can literally see,
Oh, God.
right, you can literally
That's
see
okay.
every
Oh,
aspect.
person.
You can see every aspect of anything that anybody has touched.
It's the cron job, that's the date they use for cron jobs here.
What's that?
For Linux, that's the date they use for cron jobs.
Who's Jeremy? He is one of the admins at Freeside.
Somebody asked me that recently.
The reason for that is when we upgraded Freeside to the new version, they had to run scripts to move data from one thing to another, and that's why Jeremy D's name is on that.
But I seen it on somebody's account, so I'm like,
Who the heck is Jeremy D? Well, now you know. Okay, any questions on change history? Jumbo is Jumbo. I hate Jumbo. It's kind of dumb personally, but what Jumbo does is it basically shows you all of these screens all at one
Simultaneously.
screen. I don't like it because it takes a long time to load all the information up.
A long time.
Yeah, you gotta fill up, it pulls up your basic screen, it pulls up the notes screen, pulls up all the tickets, all packages,
Kind of like
the payment history, and it just keeps going. So, I mean, it's just, I mean, you can do it this way, it's your preference.
I don't usually use the jumbo screen.
All right, so there's that. Packages, this is what we're going for now. Packages are, simplistically put, is parts of invoices. So if they have multiple things on an invoice, they're parts of that invoice. This package was added. You can't have the same package number. Every time that a new package is created, that package number evolves. You can't ever change those package numbers. It's just a unique way to do it. I mean, eventually this will get into the millions. That'll be package number.
The non-billables, sir, though, don't show up on the invoice, like the KC access email addresses and stuff like that, unless they're email only. Those do not show up on invoices.
Right.
You're right.
It's because it's been turned off, so it doesn't.
Ah.
So it can, it just, we don't. These are one-time charges, and the reason why you can see that is because it was ordered one time, and it says one-time charge. That's also in our industry and NRC and non-recurring fee. Or charge, I should say. So those are your one-time charges. Then you should see two packages, see where it says active and inactive. Both of these packages, this is the package number, this is the package number. The VRF, which is it's a database record management fee. It starts on February 27th, 2013. It's going to bill monthly. It was set up on the 28th, 2013. It last billed on the 28th. And it was, the next bill will be March 28th. So all of that information is there. Technically, you could come in here and change the dates in just a second, and you could make it so they skip a month. However, if you do that, I'm going to see it.
So, can we have customers pick their own date that they would like to make a payment? Like, let's say, for instance, person X makes a payment to us to set up their initial account. And then they say, well, I get paid the first week of every month. Is there any way and they signed up for our CMP plan at the end of the month. Is there any way for you guys to start charging me the first of the month every month? Just asking.
There is a way to do it. We used to do it. We used to set up everybody on the first of the month. No matter when they signed up. First of the month. Period. That's when you guys signed up. The problem is then I lost revenue. Because if they signed up on the 25th of the month, I didn't see revenue in the month of February. I didn't see that